My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name is Marco Toncirtieri. And I live in central Rome in this apartment, and I've been doing that for the last 11 years. I had just graduated as an architect in France, in Paris. In a year and a half or 2 years, we had 50 people working for us. I was doing low-income housing, but by the tons. 2 years later, we had under construction thousands of units. I was really, I think, inspired. I wanted to be an architect. He ended up doing big commercial buildings in the center of American cities. One day I was shocked by something that the French teacher had said. He said, in this life, nothing is really gained the same way that nothing is really lost. And if one of you makes money, it means somebody else lost it. And nothing is created. I don't know why, but my dreams got shattered at that moment. I said, there must be things being created all the time and brought to this world. I want to gain a lot. I want to make a lot. And I don't want it to be lost by somebody because I made it. In my opinion, if you invent something, you're not taking anything away from anybody. And so the guy said, no, in that case, artists and creators do add. Suddenly, his logical reasoning had failed him. Every time I change, I start again. At the time, I knew I would now be just an inventor. I've been an architect and a developer, a race car driver and a race car designer. I have designed ski boots. Now I design surgical instruments for orthopedic surgery. It's so nice to think that you've given the world something really good that was there, but nobody had brought it to the world before. This is called a forage gun. I invented this and I have a patent. It does look like a gun and it doesn't shoot, but it does penetrate the neck of the femur and the head of the femur and empties it when you're in a situation of a necrotic head. If it's broken here, it will hold together and it fixes the humerus. By being able to save a young person through this operation, we are giving him a lot without taking anything away other than maybe a day in the hospital. I change countries, I change jobs. Every time I change, I get confirmation of what my professor said. Creativity adds and doesn't take away. I keep on discovering.
Emirates Airline. Keep discovering. My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name is Marco Toncirtieri. I had just graduated as an architect in France. In 2 years, we had under construction thousands of units. One day I was shocked by something that the French teacher had said. He said, in this life, nothing is really gained, nothing is really lost. But in my opinion, if you invent something, you're not taking anything away from anybody. And so the guy said, no, in that case, artists and creators do add. Now I design surgical instruments for orthopedic surgery. This is a forage gun. I invented this and I have a patent. I keep on discovering.
Emirates Airline. Keep discovering. My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name's Justin Allison. I'm 38 years old. Until about a year and a half ago, I've just enjoyed my life in a normal kind of way. I was a successful creative director working for a series of advertising agencies in the international arena, going from one country to the next, fixing problems for advertising agencies. Then I was out in the countryside with some friends of mine, and I started to feel breathless. And I thought at that point, maybe I was having an asthma attack. I never had asthma, and never really had any real illness. And I had a heart attack. My heart stopped. I was very conscious, very adrenalized. And then I was suddenly not here at all. After about 7 hours, I woke up in hospital, and I felt completely outside time. It didn't feel like 7 hours to me, it felt like 2 minutes. It was actually quite pleasurable to be in our world and be completely outside time. Days went by in seconds, a month went by in a week. I wasn't really aware of time at all at that point. I started to learn that I had no concept of time in the way that I had before, consciously, about a month after I started to go into physical therapy, and that I could, to a certain extent, control my perception of time. Whilst I was getting better, I spent a lot of time travelling, just to find out more about the world and spend a bit of time with myself and discover who I now was. I went to Australia, and I went out into the outback to a little flying club, miles from anywhere in the outback, called Wakery. And I got there completely by chance, and I tried flying gliders. And instead of being terrified of it, I found that I actually really enjoyed it. One day the instructor said to me, "Off you go out and fly as far as you can and come back when you're ready," which is quite a fearful thing for someone to say because you're going out into the middle of nowhere. Kept chasing these clouds for it felt for me for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then I had a radio call come in which said, "Justin, I think you should come home. Do you know what time it is?" And it was 5:36 in the evening, and I'd been up there for hours. It's all because of that time issue, being able to stand outside time in my mind and compress it or stretch it to my own needs. It's almost as if everything's happening around me really fast, but I'm just standing there, moving very slowly. And this is what I've discovered since I've had my heart attack.
Emirates Airline. Keep discovering. My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name's Justin Allison.
I was a creative director working in advertising.
I was out in the countryside with some friends of mine and I had a heart attack. I woke up in hospital and I felt completely outside time. I went to Australia and I tried flying gliders at Waikerie outside Adelaide. One day the instructor said to me, "Off you go, fly as far as you can." And I kept chasing these clouds for, it felt to me, about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I had a radio call which said, "Justin, I think you should come home. Do you know what time it is?" I've been up there for hours. It's almost as if everything's happening around me really fast, but I'm just standing there, moving very slowly. And this is what I've discovered since I've had my heart attack.
Emirates Airline. Keep discovering. My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name is Marco Scandola. I worked for 16 years in a pharmaceutical field and then marketing director in order to become managing director of the company. During my last important key meeting, I asked myself if the job I was doing was really my true vocation. It was the worst meeting of my life. I was not motivated. I was looking at the grey sky. I reflected that I would like to look for better weather and above all, better quality of life. I felt that my life was at a crossroads, but I knew that as one door closed, another one opened. Exactly in this moment, I realized that my new project was to open a restaurant. The next day, I handed my resignation and started out on a new life. Finally, I found a chef who agreed with my approach to cooking. This is a potato. To you, it's just a potato. But when I pick it up, I discover a world of taste and texture. Garlic, onions, carrots, artichokes, aubergine, basil, parsley, all the vegetables of the world. Filled entrecote, pork chop, bacon, raw ham, sausages. I discover a world of taste and texture. Gilthead, sea bass, tuna, salmon, shrimps, king shrimps, lobster, mussels, clams, real clams. As one door closed, another one opened. I chose to restore this restaurant following an original idea, 7 deadly scenes, to discover new dishes, mixing different flavors in an original way. I keep discovering a new taste and texture. Lasagna al forno, ravioli, spaghetti cacio e pepe, Italian cappuccino, Irish coffee. Every day I discover something new.
Emirates Airline. Keep discovering. My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name is Marco Scandola. I work in a pharmaceutical field in order to become managing director of the company. During my last key meeting, I asked myself if the job I was doing was really my true vocation. Exactly in this moment, I realized that my new project was to open a restaurant. The next day, I started out on a new life. I found a chef who agreed with my approach to cooking. sea bass, salmon, entrecôte, pork chop, bacon, raw ham, and sausages. Every day I discover something new.
Emirates Airline. Keep discovering. My Discovery in association with Emirates Airline.
My name is Catherine Craig. I'm a film lawyer based in Soho in London. I suppose my daily life was head of legal and business affairs at a feature film production company, running the legal department there and dealing with all the day-to-day issues of developing, producing and distributing feature films. I worked for 8 years at a European studio and then moved to a smaller production company. I probably worked from about 9 in the morning till 7:30, 8 o'clock most evenings. The stress levels increase once a film starts shooting. My involvement would be very much on a business level and discussing the sort of business figures, the financing, the structure of the deal. And it ultimately comes down to where the buck has to stop. 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 More often than not, we would be reducing budgets rather than increasing them. And as a lawyer, you're expected to deliver the bad news. In the back of my mind, I always knew that I would go and do something, but not knowing what it was. I just was thinking there is definitely more to life than this. I had time to sit and think and know that my life wasn't going in the direction that I wanted it to. I just went out and I bought a newspaper and